Hi, it's Jeff.
And Denise from Mousesteps.com.
And this is episode number 482.
482.
Of Mousesteps Weekly.
Sponsored by MEI Travel and Mouse Fan Travel. It is almost time for Halloween.
Happy Halloween!
It just days away from the first Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party. There's still plenty of dates left, so if you're planning to visit Walt Disney World this I don't want to call it a holiday season, this Halloween season, this is a great time. It's not a great time to do it like this week, but as
it's
you know, maybe
degrees feel real.
Feel real. So yeah, maybe like September.
But they're selling
October.
out fast. They are selling fast.
Head to MEI and Mouse Fan Travel, their website, for a no obligation quote.
And as you mentioned, it is Halloween. This was actually on August 1st that we shot this beginning part, and we're going to show more updated with the Halloween banners. But you can see the pumpkins have arrived at the Magic Kingdom.
I know. I think they arrived around July 31st. Like I think it was the day before August. It was like,
not
wow.
all the pumpkins, but those exterior pumpkins, and then these pumpkins here also arrived.
Right, the ones that flank the castle. So yeah, there's every day there's been more and more decorations going up since then, and it's hard to believe it's this week is probably, I think it's supposed to be the hottest of the year.
It is. That's what they said. Yeah.
So almost 100 degrees here today.
Well, you can just imagine the frost on the pumpkin.
Yes.
You have to use your imagination for Halloween here in Central Florida.
It's a steamy Halloween this year.
Yes.
So anyway, we're going to look at these scarecrows, which are based on the cast members at the various locations, like Casey's. Mm-hmm. This is a scarecrow for Casey's. We've got the Main Street, the confectionery.
Confectionery, yes. That's right.
So each of the scarecrows has something to do with Main Street. And you've got like a candy apple and then a lollipop in the other hand. And these are characters we don't see. We've got the mayor on the right, and then we have like a citizen of Main Street here on the left. And citizens of Main Street and the mayor have not come back. And I don't want to say the mayor. I think last time we had a mayor, but then we had other different characters.
Yeah, I think the point is it would be very nice to have the real citizens of Main Street return.
Yes, not just the scarecrows.
But I do like them. I mean, it's a tradition to have them here, and they did arrive very early in July for the first time, as we had mentioned earlier. And we have one more here. It's the Main Street Marching Band. It
is cool to see the scarecrows every year. There's really not been much change though in the decorations in years.
Yeah, that's true.
So it would be nice to have a little something new, I think, at some point.
I agree. I think it's been over 10 since we've had any major changes, I think.
Maybe a few pumpkin, a pumpkin here and there.
And I believe this is the Emporium.
Yes, that because it says Emporium on her bag.
That's a good clue. See, I didn't even realize that.
And then she's also holding like a little Mickey doll in her other hand.
And once again, this must be the confectionery.
No.
The bakery.
The bakery.
The bakery, of course.
We'll say Starbucks, but they needed like a little Starbucks something on them.
Yes. But I do remember they actually did have a actual bakery for many, many years.
It was really nice. Although I do love having a Starbucks there as well because I like their tea and some of the treats.
So speaking of treats, we had a real treat. We were able to ride the Omnibus first thing in the morning on August 1st and get an up-close look at some of our favorite pumpkins. So we're going to take a little ride now and check them out.
And we're not usually here too early to see, even though we're more likely to come during the morning. Mm-hmm. We haven't seen the Omnibus out during our visits previously. So it was really nice. We went back and forth, right? We did a couple full rides.
Yeah, I think we rode it as much as possible before it had to go away. The Omnibus doesn't really run very long because it gets crowded so fast.
Right. And so the nice thing about the Omnibus when you're looking at the pumpkins and the decorations is you're more at eye level for many of them. So it's really cool to see them a little closer up.
Here is one of our favorite. It is the Skellington Key.
And that's what I call it because it looks like Jack Skellington.
Yes, of course.
I love the pumpkins that look like something, like some of them just look like, faces. But then, a lot of them also are part of
the story of the shop or the store that they are outside of.
Yes. Like there's some that you didn't get because they weren't out yet. Oh, and here is the snowman pumpkin, which I always like.
And he has little candy corns there, so it kind of fits in with the confectionery.
And it was cool to ride right by, right by him.
Yeah, we've all of these years doing Halloween, we've never got to do this before. It's very rare that we'd have something completely new happen.
At Disneyland Paris, we do.
We have, yes,
all the time,
often.
So here we're heading to the Main Street Cinema, so you can see where the storyline on the top. You can see the film strip with the Mickeys. A lot of the window pumpkins, the ones that are kind of inside the windows, were not out yet. Those did not arrive till a couple days later. So I have pictures of them, but we don't have video of them from that day.
Right, and we will link to your article with
when
all
I have
the pictures.
When I have it up. I'm working on it. Okay, and here's the ice cream parlor, and you
one
can
of my
see,
favorites. I like this one.
And there's a lot of different like ice cream themed pumpkins up here.
Boy, that the squeaking of the bus that just went by here at our house, it's very accurate to the omnibus slamming on the brakes.
Maybe it's a trash.
Probably
the trash
is.
person.
So here is the last bit of pumpkins here before we're going to move on to our next Halloween section.
And also, you have this House of Magic, which has no magic anymore, but they have the magic themed pumpkins like the wand and the cards and a couple others.
So you will remember the magic shop when you were little, I'm sure.
I don't think it was
where
just
they had the Mickey in there, the magician Mickey, and he would make the little thing disappear with his two hands, and they sold magic tricks.
I remember the magic shop.
Fake rocks.
I don't remember it like that. Like it's a long time ago. Oh, and Casey's also has a lot of themed pumpkins as well. But I remember the magic shop was still there when I was an adult.
And Disneyland in Anaheim still has the magic shop. I think it's the only castle park, at least that we go to, that still has a magic shop.
And also they have the movie.
Oh yeah, that's right.
The cinema. The cinema.
Oh, and we had so on day one, your favorite pumpkin there, the restroom pumpkin, was put in the wrong place, it seems.
I know, and I've tweeted about it. I'm like, why is the pumpkin on City Hall? Because it's pointing to nothing. It's supposed to point to the restroom.
The restroom is actually the other way.
Yes.
But we did bring it to their attention, and the next time we went to the Magic Kingdom, it was quickly fixed. So I got to give kudos to that.
Is that what you're giving?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm glad that they fixed it so quickly, but it was like... That's
the correct placement of the restroom.
That's
pumpkin.
The one pumpkin where I actually will look for it like the second I walk in, and I'm like, why is it on City Hall? And yeah, it's on the firehouse.
I got a text from my friend that said, "Thank you for saving Halloween."
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's saving Halloween, maybe for him, but that was very funny.
And above the firehouse also are the pumpkins, like the Dalmatian, the fire hydrant.
Oh yeah, fire hydrant. That's right. Yeah, you can see that there. Are they?
Yes, and also even it looks like Dalmatian spots on another one. So all of the pumpkins above the fire station also are themed. And this was just a couple days ago.
Candy corn Donald.
Right, and then the nephews also are candy corns.
And I believe this was new in the last season or two, because they used to have them with cotton candy and doing some different things.
With Daisy.
And Daisy would have been dressed with the Mickey's Not So Scary outfit.
Yes, and Daisy now is on Center Street, which I didn't even realize, in a window on Center Street, really nice window display. Since the Center Street reopened. So it says "See you real soon." That was not there the first day that we came, so this would have been from a couple days ago.
Right, and I'm kind of showing all this in order because remember I had mentioned there are the banners now, the Halloween banners, out in front of the train station.
I mean, we've both been going to the party also. I think since at least 1995 or 96 for me. So
well, this is my 20th consecutive year. This is year 20, even though there were 2 years. 1 year they had the Boo Bash, and another year they didn't have any party. That was a COVID year.
Right, but
20 consecutive Halloween seasons.
I still count Boo Bash. I still count Boo Bash.
I count it. It's Halloween seasons.
Yes.
But not consecutive Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween parties.
But we did have I liked having some daytime Halloween.
Yeah, that was great.
During the first
year. We made
the
best of it the COVID year.
Well, I just think that I would like to see more Halloween during the day.
So now we're going to go back in time and talk about Trails End. This is Trails End from 1991. My parents actually shot this video. I was at this on this vacation with them, and there is my mother. We're going into Trails End. We're going to see what Trails End looked like over 30 years ago.
It's a long time ago. But
it doesn't look that different.
And my family didn't go, like, we were always eating at the Poly, that's where we were staying. So I'm sorry that I didn't go to Trails End until probably also around 95, 96.
Now, back in these days, you could see Trails End was kind of a buffeteria, although they did have the salad bar that you could make salads, and I think we're going to show my father. I think he opted for the salad bar, but when you look at the menu board, you could see there are quite a few options, and you get the food yourself, you pick out a seat, so it's kind of similar to what we have now that has replaced I mean, we love the buffet. The buffet was a big
no
favorite.
Salad bar, though.
No salad bar.
Right.
True.
And I think only a few years later they may have had the buffet.
Look at those prices. Not a bad deal.
Hot
$3.50
dog.
for a hot dog.
I don't know. That seemed
Ribs $5.15.
Well, that's a pretty good deal. But hot dog, I mean, it seems like a
we
lot
paid
for that
less
30 years
at
ago.
Costco for the hot dog.
Yes.
Half of that.
Well, I mean,
with a drink.
Disney property. So, but anyway, I'm sure I may have come here when it was a buffeteria, but I'm not even sure. I remember coming as a buffet, and I thought that was the late 90s or so.
But it's interesting. I mean, really, the look of Trails End hasn't really changed all that much. Here's my father. It's actually a taco salad bar, even better.
That sounds good.
So,
it would be nice if they had something, like that now. But I do like the grab and go concept that we're going to be looking at in a little bit once we go through the history.
Riveting footage of my father making his taco salad bar. But I mean, it's kind of nice that my mother decided to take this because it's not something you see. My father, by the way, that's a heaping salad.
I was going to say.
I sure hope they don't go by the
pound,
by the
right?
Pound.
And I was just wondering about that.
And other guests too. Look at this. I mean, they are making some big time salads back in the early 90s.
And maybe it wasn't. It's sort of like making Dole Whips before.
So now we're going to jump a year later. It's 1992. I'm in Trails End with my parents, and this time they had a make your own pizza, and you were able to get pizzas and then take them and watch the entertainment. There was a banjo player who would sing, and as we were there waiting to enjoy our dinner, we look over to Crockett's Tavern, and here is Fess Parker. Fess Parker himself.
And that's hard to believe. I mean, that's hard to believe that you were sitting there and Fess Parker
it's
shows
Davy
up.
Crockett in Crockett's. Mike Fink. He's got Betsy, his gun. He was in attendance at the opening day of Disneyland, July 17th, 1955. So what a nice Disney connection. Back then, the restaurant that we're looking at, Crockett's, was a very nice. It was the most expensive restaurant at Fort Wilderness. Mm-hmm. So you'd be able to order a really nice meal there. So it's changed. It wasn't just the bar back then.
But didn't you say, you told me that Michael Eisner
would go there. That's the executives. It would be a kind of a place for them to get away and have a nice meal, and they wouldn't be noticed, and it wouldn't be very crowded.
Right. That's really cool. I never saw any executives, to my knowledge, when I visited. But that's really something that you were sitting there having something to eat. And
I don't know the occasion, but I do remember that he had a vineyard. So it could have been a promotion for his wines back then. I'm not really sure. I do find it interesting, though, that he's holding the gun and showing it off. I mean, it really is his restaurant, right? Crockett's Tavern. There used to be a picture of him, of Fess Parker, until just recently,
right.
Until within the last year, there was a portrait, and you also had the Mike Fink keelboat. So there was a lot of references to Fess Parker, and unfortunately, all of it is gone. There's zero reference now at all to that. Here's my father checking out his footage from the day. And at the end of the day, we would all kind of get together. And my camera was the same. We had the big giant cameras, which I have the same one in the other room. Still to this day, here's my mother toasting me. You could see the classic Disney cup. And I'm telling what I did during that day, my recordings of the day. So every day we would kind of meet up in the evening, and this was kind of fun. But you could see in the background, Not really that different. So let's take a look at what it looks like today. Here is the current Trails and Crockett's Tavern.
Right. We went back there on the
official
day
day
that it
of
reopened.
reopening.
It had soft opened for a day. It is now, instead of a buffet or a table service restaurant, it is now grab and go, and where you can order food, just like when P&J's Southern Takeout was here. It is no longer P&J's Southern Takeout. We did ask about that because it was, I think, Paulette and Josephine. It was named after them, but I don't think either of them are there. So now it's
Right,
just Trails End.
They've moved on to other areas in around Walt Disney World. You could see it's a very clean setup. You have the pizza oven there, and speaking of pizza, we're going to take a look at some of the pizzas in a moment.
And you can still order the pizza, full pizza, to go.
And I think that's a better deal.
Yes,
getting the full pizza rather
just
than
a single.
Although the single slice looks pretty big.
It is big. So they have s'mores kits here, so you can pick up a s'mores kit for the campfire, and then we're coming around again. You can still order that full-size pizza. I think if you ordered like 4 of the slices, it would be like $36 or $40.
And that would make up the whole pie, because you get
and
a
the
quarter.
pie's around $20.
Right.
So
for like $8 or $9, maybe even more, depending on your topping, for one piece, you might as well get the whole pizza.
Right, and so
if you're hungry,
if you need, but if you only want one slice, that's fine too. It is a big slice, and so they also have this cases of items, including, it looked like cold chicken. Plus, you can get hot chicken. See the cold chicken.
Yeah, all of this is cold in the freezer to go. Perfect if you're camping. You just want to kind of stock up on some food. You didn't bring food in advance. Easy to cook. Just heat and cook.
Or you might have food, but you want something from here. And the nice thing is you could come here every day, unlike probably the buffet, which would have been a lot more expensive. They also have grab and go of different types of items, including fried chicken, but instead of having it from the warmer, it's different if you're bringing it back to your cabin or whatever. But if you want something fresh, you can also order it on the app, which is what we did, fresh food.
And that was no different than when we would order
P&J Southern Takeout,
exactly.
Or Trails End, Trails End to Go, although I don't think they had the app back then.
And impressively, the price has changed the same. Has not changed and stayed the same.
Right, pretty
That's
much.
What I was trying to say.
Yeah, pretty much the same. Plus, certain items like cowboy beans, which had left before, you can now do a grab and go of the cowboy beans.
Now, this is a new development, as far as I can tell. Ice cream, hand scooped ice cream here.
And the funny thing is, they made such a big deal of hand scooping, but it's Edie's ice cream, which it's still nice to get hand scooped, but it's not like homemade or something, So it's not, but it's nice, like especially when it's like almost 100 degrees out. It's nice to have ice cream.
I think we need to test it out.
I don't think we have to test out.
You know what Edie's tastes like?
No, you can get it at the grocery store.
And here is the checkout island there, and you can tell the interior looks very similar to how it looked in its last incarnation as what was it, a buffet? It was sit down.
It was a sit down restaurant,
family
and
style.
then you could get again the P&J's Southern Takeout, and I feel like the chairs are a little different. The red and are they red?
Yeah, the chairs look updated, new chairs.
Yes. So there's just one fountain. It's probably the same one as before. There was no iced tea, which I noticed. I hope that they'll bring some because I prefer iced tea.
And you can see the decor. It's kind of less decor, really. It's not as cluttered as before, but there's a little bit less storytelling. Again, they took away any references to Davy Crockett and some of the former things that were there. The animal heads, for instance, are all gone.
I would have preferred to still have some of that in here. You have a hidden Mickey over here.
And this is your mobile order pickup area, which we sat right around here. And as our food was brought out, we were able to just... There was where we sat right there. And that's where I sat with my parents. That was the exact seat back 31 or 2 years ago, 31 years ago, back in 92. And Fess Parker would have been right there, right around where that stove was.
Hard to believe still, that you were just sitting there and he came in.
Yeah.
But I think also there's more tables for Crockett's Tavern. down below. And the Wilderness Arcade had not yet reopened, and I don't know if it has yet. We
were
been
told
there
it
since.
was. I mean, because
Of
they
course.
were using that area as the food serving area.
Well, the Disney Parks blog also said that it was going to be reopening. So at some point it has, or it will. And so here you can see all these seats.
And you see the horseshoe chandelier. I like this. This reminds me of a restaurant they have at Disneyland Paris.
Silver Spur.
Silver Spur has similar seats with the cow
backing.
backings. I kind of like that.
And one of these days we'll get a drink in. I had thought about it, but then it was like, we ate and...
Well, it also happened to be the opening day of the Epcot Food and Wine
Right.
Festival.
Oh, right.
So we
That's why
went
we
straight
did-
from here to the festival. So we had to keep our palate clear.
Well, we also visited Pixie, the new little baby horse.
Oh, yes.
The Cinderella.
That was very nice.
Or Cinderella pony over at Tri-Circle D Ranch.
And this is the area where they used to have the model of the Mike Fink keel boat, and where you just saw, that's where the Fess Parker picture was.
Remember the bear?
And the bear, you had the bear head.
I have a picture of me somewhere with the bear.
Yeah, I have all of that. So I kind of miss some of those. Here is our chicken meal. What a deal. I think for $10, you get 2 sides, 3 big pieces of chicken. Can't beat that.
And it is a better deal to get like around $26 for the 8-piece of chicken
Yeah, that's
with
what we
everything.
normally would do if we didn't have a food and wine festival to go to that
But
day.
not even that. We didn't have the car nearby.
And cornbread, too.
We could have put it in the cooler if
True,
we did.
True, that's right. We were
and
bussing it on this day.
We're used to a full cornbread, and it was just like this little bitty cornbread.
And we're going to take a look outside at the grab and go. Well, no, the bar, I guess you'd call it.
Right, the
bar.
Crockett's Tavern is a bar. I think they have some snacks and such, but mostly a bar.
And usually there would be rocking chairs and tables out here. I think they will probably be returning.
No, I'm sure. I'm sure that they will have to bring them back if they haven't, and they might.
They probably have
not,
already. We haven't
right.
been there since it opened.
Right.
Reopened.
So it's been a couple of weeks since we've been there.
But this area, exactly the same as before. You can order drinks, mixed drinks, beer and wine.
It's it's nice to have everything reopen. The food is as good as it has been, but the nice thing is you can, the whole grab and go concept I think is very nice here. It would have been nice to have a little something table servicey still, and
maybe if the DVC eventually does open somewhere in this area, they will have a very nice fancy sit-down restaurant.
Well, there's going to be DVC. The cabins are going to be DVC, and right. I'm trying to think of the name of what it was. Reflections.
Oh yeah, Reflections.
If that becomes, of course, there would be somewhere to eat there.
So anyway, that is the latest at Trails End and Crockett's Tavern. Now we're going to move on to SeaWorld, though. We attended the SeaWorld Craft Beer Festival preview, and we're going to take a look at what we tried.
Right, and it wasn't very.
Oh, by the way, I'm showing it was over 100-degree heat index. It was very, very hot. So you have a warning here to try to keep it cool.
And unfortunately, some of the beer taps, and I don't know if it's most of the beer taps, were not working at the booths because of the heat.
Right, the extreme heat.
So the SeaWorld Craft Beer Festival is on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays through September 4th. And there's over 100 beers, wine, and cocktails. And then there was like 20 plus food items. And you can see some of the food items here. I thought the taco was good, and the corn I had was good. So, but there's like pork belly and such. And it was just a really, like, we got to the parking lot of SeaWorld, and it was just like, oh my gosh, this is like the hottest day.
It was brudely.
It's not just
hot.
like summer. It was really hot. And so I was going to try the boozy some more. I did not end up trying it. And here is...
this was a grapefruit beer.
Okay,
I don't
'cause
remember
Matt ordered that.
A friend of mine ordered this one, so I was able to give it a try. Next, we went over and I tried the Wisconsin bratwurst. This was my favorite thing of the whole day. I asked for the cheese on the side. I'm glad I did, because it was delicious just like this. I didn't need all that cheese on it. And it this was the best thing I had all day. It was very good. Too bad I couldn't get a nice beer with it, though.
Right, because of the tap issue. So let's see what we got
You
here. I had
got the strawberry margarita, and I had the Surf's Up. Mine was more rum based, and yours was more of a tequila based.
and we were invited, so we were able to get everything.
They gave us lanyards.
Yes.
With
But,
eight items each.
and that said, it's the only way to go with that lanyard, because you look at the prices on things like that margarita for $13.99. It is not worth $13.99, but it's worth the amount of the lanyard.
Correct.
So, like here you get the beef taco $12.99 and the corn $12. It's really a lot of money for a single item. I mean, they want you to buy that lanyard, and it's a reasonably good deal with the lanyard.
And I actually really enjoyed the
taco.
It was
really
delicious,
good.
very filling. The corn also, although I think there was too much
Right,
extra stuff on that.
I scraped most of that off, and that's the one thing about food festivals now. Like, they always have to kind of squeeze something on or throw a lot of stuff on it. And I just a lot of times ask for stuff on the side, because I like what I eat to be plain, or maybe just a very light amount.
Right. And we're just kind of taking a look at another one of the booths. You could see some of the beer they had here. High Lie, which I've had many times. Florida Man. All these are from Cigar City, which I'm a big fan of Cigar City Brewery. And there is the Wish You Were Beer section. We're going to take a look at some of that. There was the poutine and the pork belly and kimchi. There is the poutine right there. We didn't try any of this. I was actually really full, by the way, at this point.
The taco was pretty filling. And again, like, if you're paying where you're getting like $5 to $6, depending if you have an annual pass or not with that lanyard, I think that's reasonable for what it is.
Right.
But not like, $13. It's a much less to go with that lanyard.
And I think we will go back and use the rest of our lanyards, and we'll do an update on some of the items that we try. But after, we headed over to Universal, because we still hadn't at this point tried the
VillainCon.
The VillainCon.
So,
that's right. In the new Minion Land.
We were going to see a movie, and then it's like, do you want to go to Universal? Do you want to go to Universal?
Because we're so close.
Yeah, we were close. It was seriously hot out, but it was like, we haven't done it, and when else are we going to do it? Because we're coming into Halloween now, and we just don't have the time. So VillainCon Minion Blast, we headed in. You're not allowed to record the ride. I tried to do the app thing, because I downloaded the app, but I didn't even have time for that. It's like I'm trying to do the app with the blaster as I'm getting on, and they're like, no, you have to put the phone away.
The queue was very nice, and I did appreciate once you got through the outside queue, it was delightfully air conditioned, which was much needed on this day. You just saw the blaster that you're going to use in the game, and there's a variety of other blasters. This kind of reminds me of the Haunted Mansion there, and some other interesting items at the convention on the convention floor.
And I really enjoyed the queue. And when we went, it was only about, I think the first time was about a half-hour wait, and then the second time,
like 15 minutes or so.
Right, about 15. We were only going to do it the once, because I was so hot. And then we went and got something to eat in City Walk, and then it's like, you want to go back? And so we walked back.
I'm glad.
I am too. I did really well the second time.
Well, you sure did. This is the blaster, and I'm going to show some of the film that they show you, since we aren't allowed to record the ride. So this is just the pre-show film. You could see the guests with the blasters, and here is actually shooting, and you could see the top button. You're getting a banana blast that gives you not limited blast, but this button, the lower one, you can do non-stop, and you were going pretty fast with that blaster.
Well, the one that is limited, I used almost exclusively the whole time, because it regenerates. So you might all of a sudden get like 9 more blasts with it. And I got over 1 million points, so you came over to me.
You were shooting over your head.
I was.
You were very
Then I had
into
to go
it.
to the back person a couple days ago.
I have a chiropractor after this.
Then, but you came to me and you're like, I did really well, and you had like 500,000. I'm like, oh, I did.
You laughed at me. You laughed at a 500,000.
I didn't laugh, but I was really happy with my score.
So afterwards, we met some of the characters.
And Vector was out at this time, and then we also, here he comes, met Gru and Margo. And this is, just right around the corner. Whenever we've been here, there's not a huge line, and it's a fun meet and greet.
Oh, so much fun. We had a blast. Very easy, as you said, very easy to do, even with the heat. I mean, we weren't waiting outside for a long time. It is in the shade, at least at this point in the day. So it was great. I loved it.
I had a very good time with the characters, and also if you're here and you want to see the characters enter and exit, it's actually really fun to watch them come and go. And we'll show that, I'm
This
sure,
is
with
the
Vector.
yes, the Vector's exit coming up now. What a ham!
Yeah, I was going to say he really plays to the camera, right? And
Yes.
there he goes. He's going to go.
No, very fun. I enjoyed that. So this is we've actually met 4 different sets of characters now in the 2 visits we've had to the new Minion Land.
Yeah, I was just trying to think who else we saw. We saw Johnny and Gunter, and then a couple of minions, and then Vector, and then Margo and Gru.
So I think the doors will be closing on Vector, and you had mentioned Margo and Gru, and here they are coming up now.
And Gru was really fun with the dancing, but it wasn't like he was playing like Vector was,
Right.
where, Vector would come up to the camera and do that thing with his hands and everything. I thought that was really fun.
So while we're watching, we're going to end up just watching these guys do their dance and their meet and greet. Do you have any other tips or advice as someone who got over 1 million points on the Villain Con ride? Mm-hmm. What's
I
the
enjoy
secret?
it. Well, I go for some of the smaller things that not
That's what I was
everybody's
trying to
looking
get you
at.
to, yeah, you were telling me
right?
about some of the
If-
little items on
off
the
to my-
boxes and
yeah.
things.
Well, no, off to my left there were some other extreme, not just on the screen.
Not the big screen, the side little screens.
Right, little ones. And then also I would put the gun over my head to
I don't
shoot.
recommend that.
You know what? I actually did have to go to the, at my back.
Lower
I did
back
something.
doctor yesterday.
I did.
So beware, be careful.
I know. I don't know if that's from that, but it is possible.
It's very likely. You had no issues before that.
I did. Okay, well, don't say no issues, but the next day I was in pain. So
So let's talk about Red Oven Pizza. We decided to go to our usual when we're in Universal.
This is in City Walk, and I love it. I'd love to come here, and we usually just get the margarita pizza, but we ended up with the mushroom pizza with also peppers on it, and
It was good.
Yeah, it was good. I think I would get that next time again. And we also always order the Caesar salad, and because we got so many steps.
Oh, I forgot to show this.
Cold Stone
Yes.
Creamery.
Oh,
which
boy, was that good.
I haven't been to Cold Stone in a really long time.
Right next door.
Yes.
Delicious
And so
ice
you
cream.
could just walk over, get the ice cream, bring it back to Red Oven.
Which we did. Had to
I
eat it
did.
fast because of that 100-degree
Jeff's like, I don't really want ice cream, and then he ate half.
I wanted to help you.
Yes.
Help you out.
No, I'm glad you did, because they're a little high calorie, so at least if we're splitting it, it's a lot better.
Not as bad.
Not as bad.
So that is another show. We want to thank our sponsor, MEI Travel and Mouse Fan Travel.
Check them out. They can help you with any sort of Disney trip, or they can book any cruise line. So check them out for that. Head to the website and get a no obligation quote.
Universal Fan Travel
Universal
also.
fan, right? They're Universal specialists, Disney specialists, cruise specialists. Becky is always traveling. Getting the lowdown on everything.
So in only a few short days, it is time for the very first Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party. We'll be at the first 3 parties this year.
It's going to be a very busy week.
That's right, 15 hours of Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party with some new elements. There'll be some changes to the Mickey's Boo to You parade. We'll have the Sanderson sisters, played by one of your favorite Disney characters, the most scrumptious of all characters, Clarabelle, will be in attendance.
We did meet them last year at Oogie Boogie Bash, and we also have the Seven Dwarfs who will be there.
They will be making a return. We'll talk about that all next week. And you had mentioned Oogie Boogie Bash. We'll be also doing a couple Oogie Boogie Bashes, so that'll be very exciting.
I love it because Disneyland has all kinds of Halloween all over, and then Oogie Boogie Bash is just like the cherry on top, and we get 2 of them.
And the Halloween fun continues at Disneyland Paris.
And I look forward to that, of course. I always look forward to Paris.
So thanks again for listening. Have a great week, and we'll see you all next week.
Have a great week.